Hey guys, I'm back and I'm like so excited. I know I said I was gonna finish Premonition and I am, but I had to take a break. Which I mean, sometimes I do that. Like I took a break during Fever to read other stuff, just because it was too much. Like I just needed a break, and so y'all know I love Jennifer Armentrout, right? Like she's one of my top tier, right? Jennifer Armentrout, Cassandra Clare, Sarah J. Maas, Rochelle Mead. Those are like my top, like, yes, queens. All right. So Jennifer Armentrout, I thought I had read all her books, but there's a book I have not read, and the Facebook group I'm in is going to be doing a talk on it, and I'm so excited. Like, y'all, oh my God. It's called The Dead List. Can you see it? It's like, all you can see is my stuff in the background, which is pretty cool stuff, right? But anyway, so this is the book. It's called The Dead List by Jennifer Armentrout, and it is, y'all, the queen can write some thrillers, let me tell you. The queen can write some thrillers. The girl is good. Like, so I read, I gotta look and see what the name of it was. Till Death. And it was a thriller by Jennifer Armentrout, and it was really good and kept me guessing. And this one was the same way. Like I gave it 5 stars. So good. Pretty much everything Jennifer Armentrout writes, I give 5 stars. Except for the Wait For You series. I'm sorry, Jen. You're the queen, but so the Wait For You series is a romance series written by Jennifer Armentrout, and lots of people love it. I didn't, simply because I need somebody trying to kill somebody in my romance, y'all. Like I need some action. Like it can't just be love and drama in real life. So anyway, I love this book. I thought it was amazing. So the main character is Ella, and it's from her point of view. So it starts out, you've got 4 childhood friends, okay? So you've got Ella, Jensen, Gavin, and Penn. And they're these 4 kids who are friends. I mean, I don't think you really know how old they are. But they are in middle school, getting ready to start high school, when some stuff happens. And some bad stuff happens. And you don't really know what it is. So that's one of the nice things, is it kind of, the stuff that happened in the past unfolds as you're reading the book. So you don't know what happened. You just know that something happened within that group of friends. Something terrible happened. You don't know what. You can kind of guess, right? Like you kind of guess because Penn's not in the present. So you guess that something happened to Penn, but you don't know what. So it starts off, like I said, when they're children, and then it fast forwards to like literally they're in high school, and it's their pre-senior year party. This guy named Brock, who's like a jock dude, throws a pre-senior year party every year, or pre-school year party, because he's a senior. Anyway, he throws a party every year, and somebody always does something embarrassing and regrets it, and he's like hitting on Ella. And Ella's just like, she gets to thinking about it, because, I mean, he's hot, right? He's jock dude. But she gets to thinking about it, and she's like, I don't think this is a good idea. So she decides to leave, right? When she leaves, someone grabs her from behind, wearing a freaking clown mask. So that was the other thing that I love. Let me see if it does it on this one. So, okay. So this is like the intro page, right? Which is the dead list. And then literally where's it go? I don't know if y'all can see that. So it says, for the readers who still picked up the dead list, even though there was sort of kind of a clown in it. So the dude who grabs Ella is wearing a freaking clown mask. And like blue eyes and red lips. Anyway. So she almost gets freaking murdered, right? Like she literally has to fight for her life. Like there's a whole like struggle and everything. And this is what kind of sets off everything that happens in the book. And the stuff that happened in the past gets sprinkled in along the way for it to, it unfolds. It's like an onion. And I love books that are like onions because like Sarah J. Maas, if you haven't read Sarah J. Maas, what are you doing? Read Sarah J. Maas. Read Throne of Glass first, because if you read A Court of Thorns and Roses, you're going to be spoiled and you're not going to enjoy Throne of Glass as much. Read Throne of Glass. So Sarah J. Maas starts off and you think the story's one thing, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It opens like a blooming onion. And this story kind of does that. And some of Jennifer Armentrout's series kind of do that. And I love it when a book does that. So that sets off the whole thing. And so this is your warning, because this is a thriller. I will tell you this before I do the spoilers. I will tell you this, that besides the fact that I love this book, I did not know who did it or what was going to happen. You know how sometimes you read books or you watch a movie, you watch a show, whatever, and you're like, oh, it's going to be so-and-so and this is what's going to happen. That was not the case with the book. Like, when I was reading this book, I thought at certain points, I'm like, I bet it's so-and-so. Well, you know what? Maybe it's so-and-so. Oh my God, what if it's such and such? Like I thought I knew, but then I would find myself doubting myself, because there's no like red herring in the book. There is one point where you go, it's you. I know it's you. But it still doesn't like come out. It's not blatant. It's just kind of like the person says some things that are off, and it kind of makes you go, especially if you were already suspecting that person, it kind of makes you go, I see you. All right. So this is your spoilers alert. Spoilers. Because this is a thriller. So if you don't want to know who done it, cut it off now. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you the synopsis of the book. And this is as much for you as it is for me, because like I said, my Facebook group is going to be discussing this book. And I'm going to watch this later for a refresher. So Evie, y'all see what I did, right? Ella almost gets murdered at the party. So she goes back to school and she's talking to the guidance counselor. Guidance counselor's like, I really think you need to take some self-defense classes. I think it would make you feel better. It'll help you kind of take control of the situation and help you feel like you're doing something to protect yourself. So she does, and lo and behold, who is teaching self-defense but Mr. Hottie himself, Jensen. And so I like Supernatural. Jen mentions Supernatural a lot in her books, and I wonder if this is a nod to Jensen Ackles, who... I mean, I'm down for a Dean Sam sandwich, but I'm just saying Jensen looked good. He looked good. All right. So I'm getting sidetracked, y'all. Y'all make me think about things. All right. So it's just me. I'm making me think about things. Okay. So Jensen, one of the childhood friends, is the one teaching self-defense. Okay. So he's teaching her self-defense. And then later on, she gets home and she finds a clown mask in her bed with a note that says it's all your fault, right? Freaky. And the window's open. So she freaks out. She calls the cops, right? They come. They're like, the window's closed, the mask is gone. They're like, maybe you imagined it. You know, you've been through a traumatic event. These kind of things happen. That kind of stuff. Okay? So then, she finds, so there's some girls that are missing. I should have told you that earlier. Like, some of the girls from school are missing. And she finds one of the girls' bodies at, like, this haunted house thing that they're working on. And it comes out that Gavin was seeing, Gavin, her friend, that she also used to date. But things, she was trying to make it more, but she didn't have those feelings. I mean, you can't help it if you don't have those feelings. Like, there's the song. So Jen posts a playlist for A King of Flesh and Fire that's coming out September 1st. And one of them was the band Delta Ray. And there's this song, now I can't think of the name of it. But it's basically saying, like, I wish I could love you, but I don't. So if you haven't checked out that band, check them out. They're a North Carolina band. And so anyway, Jensen, who lives down the street from her, finds out about all this stuff, and he comes over in the middle of the night and climbs up to her window to stay with her to make sure that she's safe. And some sexy times ensues. Like, not all the way. Ella's still pure. But some mechanics with clothes on. Does that work? So here's one of my favorite quotes. Y'all know, if it's something worthy, then I write it down. And I feel like this is worthy. So this is from Jensen. He says, I want to be that guy. The one that when your phone rings, you hope it's me. The one who holds your hand in the hallway and at lunch. The guy who gets to hold you. I want to be the one who gets to touch you. I want to be yours. And then, so one of my other ones is Ella's friend, Lynn's, who is pretty freaking hilarious. So Jensen and Ella never had anything to do with each other because after whatever happened in the past with Penn, Jensen moved away. They didn't talk with each other. And that story comes out, what happened there. And so all of a sudden they're together and they show up together. And Lynn's her friend. I wrote this one down because it was just funny, just the way she said it. So they come strolling up in the school holding hands. And she looks at them and says, there has to be a newsletter that I haven't subscribed to because you two are holding hands. That was another one of my favorite quotes. So she, at some point, she goes over, Lynn's parents are out of town. She goes over for a sleepover at Lynn's house. And while she's in the shower, because she's been working out on her self-defense with Jensen, she gets attacked in the freaking shower. Not in the shower, in the bathroom. And so she fights the guy because she's been taking self-defense with Jensen. And she gets loose and she flees. And she runs into the garage. And when she gets to the garage, the car's running. And Lynn's is in the car. So she has to take a shovel, bust open the window, get in the car, shove Lynn's into the passenger seat, because I guess she was in the driver's seat because they were trying to make it look like she killed herself. And then she tries to get the garage door open and can't, so she ends up having to drive the car through the garage door. So once they get outside, Brock is literally like right there, knocking on the glass of the window, like, what's going on? Now, how creepy is that, right? How was he right there after Ella just fought off Mr. Clown Face Dude? Clown Mask Dude. And so, you know, she's kind of freaking out. He calls the cops. She's like, call the cops. You know, they call the cops. Lynn's is unresponsive. So the ambulance takes Lynn's away. When the cops get there, they're like, holy crap, because what's in the car? But Monica, one of the other girls that's missing's body. Yo. Okay. So, after all of that, she goes back to her house, right? And they're kind of sitting around her, Lynn's, Jensen, and Gavin talking. And that's when, so this is, turn back now, spoilers. All right. So that's when it kind of clicked for me, like, I think it's Gavin. Because some of the stuff he said almost sounded like he's defending the killer. And who defends the killer, right? So, anyway, so later on in the story, I think it's like a few days to a week later or something. Anyway, Mom's not going to be home for a few hours. So her and Jensen go to the house and bow chicka wow wow, sexy time. Sexy time? Sexy time. That's what they say. Anyway, so, and it's really pretty scene and it's beautifully written. Jen always does a good job. It's beautifully written. It really is like kind of like heartwarming and touching. You're like, little babies are doing the deed. So anyway, afterwards they take a shower, and when they come out of the shower, there's a freaking body hanging from the ceiling fan. And of course they haul Boogie out of the house and they call the cops, and the cops come, and it was just a dummy with a clown mask on. So her mom's like, that's it, you're going to stay with your dad. Like, we're not messing around. So Jensen's like, I'll take you to your dad's house. First, I got to stop by my house. So they stop by Jensen's house. And when they do, they're in there talking and stuff. And when they come back out, freaking Brock is hanging by the tree near Jensen's house. So they call the cops. Cops are like, go back inside, lock the door. So they do, right? And dun, 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 the freaking clown mask dude is in there, and Jensen pushes Ella to try and save her, like get her out of the way, but she's like, I ain't leaving my man. You ain't gonna get my man. I fight too. So She gets a big old candlestick and gonna fight the clown man. And the clown man and Jensen are fighting. And then the clown man hit Jensen upside the head with a freaking frying pan. And so then he takes off, right? Well, then out of nowhere, flipping Gavin shows up. And he's got like a red area on the side of his face. So she thinks, well, how did you, like, how... Jensen was fighting the guy. You've got a red mark and you just showed up here all of a sudden right after a freaking clown dude was here. So she clocks Gavin upside the head with the freaking candlestick. So then the freaking cops show up with an ambulance. They take both of them to the hospital. Right? This guy named Deputy Shaw that's been working with them this whole entire time says he's going to take Ella to the hospital, but instead he takes her to Penn's house and he's going to kill her. Well, she starts fighting him. He goes over the railing and he's dead. So she thinks, oh, it's over. Well, she makes it to the neighbor's house. And then by the time the ambulance gets there, she passes out. So they take her to the hospital. And Jensen comes in to see her. And her family's there to see her. And you think, okay, whew, okay. Like, this is... It's over. It's over. And then Gavin comes in. And Gavin tries to kill her in the hospital, y'all. In the hospital. And old girl fights. She fights. And I mean, I think that's a life lesson for us ladies. Because us ladies kind of have to always be on the defense. Because we never know. You know what I'm saying? But I fight somebody. I will. And so will Ella. And so will Ella. So she fights Gavin. She wins. And that's the end of the story, y'all. And it's an amazing book. And I would highly recommend it. I freaking loved it. Of course, I love reading anything JLA. So anytime I get to read JLA, I'm just like... So I was definitely in my happy place. So I will go back to Premonition. And then it'll be time to reread From Blood and Ash because freaking A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire comes out, y'all. September 1st. Thanks. Bye.